Merry Christmas and welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we are talking Las Vegas Raiders rookie running back Ashton Jeanty. Jeanty had his breakout performance in a monster day for the Raiders offensively, both running and catching the football. It was a great performance from the running back, a sign of his talent and bright future. We'll break down everything he did so well, as always, in the comment section below. Give us any feedback you might have. If you're a fan of these film reviews and want to help support us so we can do more of them, consider becoming a member of our channel. There's a link in the description box below that will take you right there. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, let's get started with the running game. You can see Ashton Jeanty right there, right next to the quarterback, Geno Smith, in the shotgun. And this is a pretty simple concept here for the Raiders. It's going to be inside zone working right up the middle here. We're going to get the tackle, base reach there. Double team right here, working up to the next level. We're going to get scoop blocks right here, working up to the next level. Tight end securing the backside. And Ashton Jeanty just going north and south, looking for a hole wherever he can, potentially bouncing it outside, potentially cutting it back. Again, wherever he can find green grass. And he does a great job here creasing the defense, but he keeps his balance, ends up scoring a touchdown. It's an incredible play. Let's check it out. There's a snap. There's a handoff. Good blocking, north and south. Decent little play, but he's not down yet. Breaks another tackle, and he's gone. What a run. All right, let's break this down. I mean, this is pretty awesome. You can see Jeanty gets the handoff, and I love right here, he's following his block, setting it up. You can see the dent in the defense, right? This is what you want to do offensively, right? You see this dent right there, that cave in the defense. That's awesome, and he attacks it full speed ahead. But right here is where it gets special, is where he keeps his balance, keeps running, and then gets north and south. That stiff arm is nasty. I mean, this is the physical gift. This is the physical talents of Jeanty that we've been expecting to see and that a lot of people saw when he was playing college football at Boise State. Now, this is the NFL game. This is a great defense with the Houston Texans, and it has that same kind of look. And this Raiders fans is why I think you should be excited for the future when it comes to this back. Because if they can get this offensive line figured out, again, this is pretty well blocked, right? Good job on the backside, hats on hats across the board, good movement at the point of attack. Hey, how about what is this? Left guard right here, getting on number 91 and pancaking him? Look at that. Again, if you get good blocking, if you execute up front, Raiders fans, offensive line, it's been a problem all season. But if you can do it consistently, number 2 will take you to the promised land. He's that good of a player, just like you see right here. All right, from the wide copy, it looks even better. You can see the snap. There's the handoff. Challenges the defense, bounces it outside, stiff arm, and he's gone. I mean, he's so good, guys. Look at this dent, though. Look at this line of scrimmage right here. Ball is snapped at the Raiders 49. Look at this movement. They get hats on hats all the way up to the Texans 47. Look at this dent in the defense. This is like a wedge right in the middle of the defense. And as a running back, if you can attack that and now bounce it right here, that's special balance, that's special power, then the breakaway speed. This is why he was a top 10 pick. There's a lot of people that are like, is it worth taking a running back that high? Yes, it is if you have a good enough offensive line. If the Raiders can build and create a good offensive line, and I think they got some good pieces. JPJ, for example, Caleb Rogers has flashed. We see some guys right here get hats on hats. Nice job, good effort, good physical run. If they can put something together up front from an offensive line perspective, Jeanty will be a superstar. Look at this balance, breaks tackles, nasty stiff arm, incredible run from the rookie. All right, let's go with the receiving game now. You'll notice Ashton Jeanty isn't anywhere to be found on the screen from this view because he's lined up out wide as a wide receiver. Now, normally when teams do that with the running back, it's because they want to pull a linebacker out of the box so they can hit a tight end or slot receiver with the slant. And it makes sense, right? You have Jeanty lined up out wide, pull someone out the area, and you have Brock Bowers replaced with some kind of route. And Brock Bowers, obviously being a good football player, makes sense from that perspective. But here the Raiders decided to challenge the Texans defense with a vertical to Jeanty, results in a touchdown. Let's check it out. There's a snap. Geno Smith immediately throws deep to a running back, beat him clean, another great stiff arm, and he's gone. Let's talk about the finish here. That's the thing with Jeanty, right? Catches the football, that's great. But look at this contact, right? Made, 15 yards short of the end zone, breaks a tackle, keeps running. This is elite. Yards after contact, missed tackles forced. That's what separates the good backs from the great backs. And that's what Ashton Jeanty did in college, and that's what he's starting to do with the Raiders right now. We saw that against Houston. Obviously, he's had moments this season. I look at, for example, the Bears game. He had a good performance. But against Houston, we saw the complete game talent, the game-breaking talent from this running back that we've been waiting to see. Part of the problem has been the offensive line. That's been the biggest problem, if we're being totally honest. But Ashton Jeanty showed up in a huge way. And to me, the biggest part is the finish, is the physicality, it's the big playmaking, just like we see on the screen.
This was big, I think, for receiving for Ashton Jeanty. This is his first explosive catch of this season, showing that he can be a real receiving threat for this Raiders team. I think it's more of a usage issue rather than an ability issue, but this 60-yard catch for a touchdown, really a great performance by him. Gave him really high receiving grade, 92.3. highest grade of the season so far. But all of this against a Texans team that is number 3 in the NFL in PFF coverage grade. So good performance against a good team. Really great showing today by Ashton Jeanty.
All right, let's go back to the running game, and there's Ashton Jeanty lined up next to quarterback Geno Smith in the shotgun. And this is going to be a draw concept here for the Las Vegas Raiders. Jeanty's going to act like he's pass setting for a second before getting the handoff and attacking the defense north and south. Here's where the offensive line, again, does a good job. You can see the guard right there. He's got defensive end Will Anderson lined up as a wide 3 technique, tough responsibility. They teach guards on draw plays. If these defensive ends or defensive tackles, whoever you're blocking, if they slant inside, you got to wash it down, which is exactly what he does. Opens up the crease, and Jeanty hits it for a nice run. Let's check it out. There's a snap. There's a handoff. North and south. Stiff arm. Breaks a tackle. Still going. Finally brought to the ground. The finish, guys. The effort, the physicality. Blocking, again, good old line. What happened? 76 does a good job. Washes 51 inside. Gives Jeanty a chance. You give number 2 a chance. Embarrasses 39 with a stiff arm right there. One guy falls down. Keeps going. You can't knock him down. Great balance, guys. Bouncing off of him. I mean, this is incredible. Watch this hit. It's like it's nothing. Right? It's crazy. Look at this. I think it's Petrie, right? It's a good player. Can't get him to the ground. You can see this guy who's this 45 just kind of falls on his face. Not ideal. You can see 39 getting stiff arm to the turf right there. Not ideal from his perspective. They couldn't tackle him. And again, this is one of the better defenses in football, the Houston Texans, and they had a nightmarish day against number 2. It speaks to his talent, and this is where the Raiders' offensive line comes into question, because if they can develop a competent group and just give them a chance, again, right here, good enough. Wash 51 inside, open up the crease, that's good enough. Ashton Jeanty can do the rest. Nice job here by the rookie. If the Raiders improve their O-line, number 2 is going to become a star. All right, from the wide copy, get a really good look at it right here. You can see there's a snap. There's the handoff. Again, there's the crease. That's the hole. That's all he needs. Right? You can see 76 washing down number 51. Nicely done, but from the right guard's perspective. And now Jeanty does the rest. One guy miss. 2, 3. Takes 4 more guys to get him down. Broken tackles, falling forward, yards after contact. Where was the initial contact, guys? Right there. At the Raiders zone, we'll call it the 24-yard line. Where does he go down? The 31. So we're talking 6, 7 yards after contact. That's awesome. How about missed tackles forced? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 missed tackles forced. That's awesome. A+ work here. Again, Ashton Jeanty, if he can get consistent blocking, he'll be a star for many years. All right, this next play to me when it comes to Ashton Jeanty is all about physicality and effort. And this is an example of a play that's not perfectly blocked. It's going to be an inside zone concept working to the offensive left, the right side of your screen. Everyone's taking zone tracks for the Raiders offensive line here. You can see the left tackle. This defensive end slants inside, and he tries to bottle him up right there. Not a terrible idea, but it ends up kind of condensing the hole. But Jeanty does a great job getting whatever he can. Again, falling forward, breaking tackles, yards after contact. Great rep from the rookie. Let's check it out. There's a snap. There's zone track. There's a handoff. Decent little crease, but he's still fighting. Yards after contact. All right, let's break it down right here. You can see the Texans are slanting. 91 almost blows the play up, but you'll notice Jeanty, once again, fighting through tackles. There's one. There's another. Fighting yards after contact. I mean, this is what he does. Where was he first hit, guys? If we're looking yards after contact. Right there. Right around 1 yard, 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards after contact. Still going 6 yards. Again, yards after contact, missed tackles forced. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3. Takes 4 other guys to get him down. Common theme that we're starting to notice on this film review, guys. Not one person can bring him down. Not 2 people can. A lot of times it takes 4, 5, 6. Missed tackles forced, yards after contact, having the entire defense required to get you on the ground. This was the promise of Ashton Jeanty when he was drafted. He's living up to it now that he's getting slightly better blocking. And again, I'm going to hit on this point a bunch. It's really important. If the Raiders can just be consistently okay at run blocking, Ashton Jeanty will be a superstar in the NFL. He's got every skill set. His physicality is off the charts.
This was Jeanty's second best rushing performance this year. He got a 71.8 grade, and his 128 yards plus a touchdown is his second time this season over 100 yards. And again, like I said about the receiving performance, this was against a top 10, number 7 run defense team in the country as far as we're talking about this Texans defense, number 3 overall defense. So for him to go off on a Texans defense, number 7 run defense, that is traditionally very, very stingy against the run. Really, really strong showing for Jeanty.
All right, sticking with the running game, and there's Jeanty right there behind Geno Smith in a single back alignment, and this is going to be a split zone concept for the Raiders. The tight end's going to come across the formation and kick out the in man on the line of scrimmage. Everyone else is taking zone track, so zone block there, base reach there, center work up to the next level. We get scoop blocks here on the backside, and the split zone concept, what it's designed to almost be is a sort of design cutback. You get everyone dislocated that way from the defense with all of these blocks right here. And you get the tight end kicking out all the way over here. The running back cuts behind just like this, and that's exactly what Jeanty does. But again, the finish is outstanding. It showcases, once again, my main point of this video, competent blocking leads to Jeanty greatness. Let's check it out. There's a snap. There's a handoff. There's a cutback, north and south. Great yards after contact, once again. Pretty good blocking, too. You can see how they dent the defense, dislocate everyone, get everyone washed down inside, create the cutback. Right, number 70 almost doesn't have anyone to block right here. Gets up to the next level, nicely done. How about the tight end securing the backside with a cut block right here? Nicely done there. Receiver inserting, good work there. When you have competence up front, when you have solid blocking, you have a little bit of a hole right here. Jeanty's got a good little hole right here. Nice job. What happens? Greatness. Someone goes to tackle him, bounces off him, no problem, and falls forward. Yards after contact, missed tackles forced. The theme of this video, guys, it's so true. When the Raiders just do a decent job blocking, a decent job with a scheme, a decent job with a strategy, Jeanty's greatness shines. It speaks to how good number 2 is. Anyone talking right now in the media about Ashton Jeanty saying he was a waste of a pick or they reached, they're wrong. They're lying to you. He is a very, very good football player. I think he's a future star. The Raiders have to rebuild their O-line. They have to become more consistent. But if they get there, number 2 is a weapon. All right, from the wide copy, get a really good look at it right here. You can see the split zone at the snap. As they're talking around, trying to adjust, making whatever play call. There it is. Meyer cuts the backside. Nicely done. You can see the offensive line denting the defense. Again, this is competent offensive line work. There's that wedge. You can see, again, that wedge in the middle of the Texans' defense. Ashton Jeanty hits it, bounces off a tackle there. Count the yards after contact, guys, just to be consistent throughout this video. Contact initially made at the 29-yard line of Las Vegas. Where does he go down? The 33-yard line of Las Vegas, 4 yards after contact. Nicely done. How many people does it take? Right? 1, 2, 3, 4 guys. That's consistent, right? It takes an army to get Ashton Jeanty to the ground, falling forward all the while. Yards after contact, missed tackles forced. I know I sound very repetitive, but I think it's really important because there's a lot of people out there that don't get it when it comes to number 2. He is a star in the making for the Raiders. All right, I've talked about in this film review that if you give, and when I say give, these guys up front, if they give Ashton Jeanty competent blocking, greatness happens. Well, right here, they screwed up. It's going to be standard zone blocking here across the board from the Raiders offensive line. And the play side right here, they give up penetration as Jeanty gets the handoff. He's nowhere to go. He's dead to rights, but he somehow bounces through the trash, navigates through, and hits the hole for a really nice run. This was the best play of the day for Ashton Jeanty, and that's saying something. Let's check it out. There's a snap. There's a handoff. It's blown up. He stays alive. Breaks a tackle. Cuts back. Still going. Still going. Still going. Nice play. Stupid penalty at the end. Holding penalty. Hate to see that. But this is an awesome run. I mean, it's dead to rights. Now listen, the center right here, his job is to reach that defensive tackle, and he actually does a decent job. That's not on the center. It's on 71 right here, getting completely blown up. That can't happen. That's embarrassing. You've got to do a good job pushing this guy out, securing. Now listen, this defensive end, his job is to set the edge, so he's going to come out there with a little nastiness. You cannot get shocked in the face like this, blown off the football. This is really bad. This isn't great by the center, but listen, reaching this defensive tackle right here, doing that work, that's good enough because you're expecting this offensive tackle to basically be right here. You see where 46 is? 71 should be about 2 yards to the left of 46 at the line of scrimmage. And if he is, Jeanty hits this as it's designed for a really big play. But it's completely blown up, but he does a good job. Bouncing around, making a guy miss, breaking a tackle, navigating through all the trash, yards after contact. Again, missed tackles forced, sound repetitive. I know it does, but he's special. This play stinks from the Raiders from an offensive line perspective, well, mainly because of 71. Everyone else, right, hats on a hat. That's pretty good work there. Number 70 right here, backside tackle does a good job washing that 3 technique down. Love to reach him, but I love the effort. I love the physicality. The Raiders' offensive line, they're just not consistent enough yet. But sometimes, even when the blocking is bad, Jeanty's incredible amount of talent really shines through. When he has somewhat competent blocking, we see it and it's easy. But every once in a while, even when he's dead to rights, you can see the special from number 2, like we see on this run.
One thing that I think Ashton Jeanty could work on is being more consistent in his pass pro. He's had some good games. He actually had a string of very strong games from this week, 65.8, going back 2 weeks, 74.9 and 79.7 PFF grade, pass blocking grades. Those are good grades. I think he had a string of 3 really good grades, but if you look at his season grade of 36.4, that is not good, showing that he has had plenty of very not good performances this year. So more consistency could be nice. Maybe he's found something now, stringing together 3 back-to-back-to-back good performances for him. But overall, that's the one thing I think he could work on the most, is more consistency in his pass block.
All right, let's end on another downhill run from Ashton Jeanty. You can see he's lined up in a single back alignment behind quarterback Geno Smith right there. It's going to be, like I said, a downhill gap concept. They're going to bring some pre-snap motion in this direction just to get some flow from the linebackers and safeties that direction. We're going to get block out here from the tight end, 89 inserting, and then double teams inside. Double team right here, working up to the next level. Double team right here, working up to the next level. Block out here from number 70. And Jeanty, again, just getting the handoff going north and south. Physical hard running here from number 2. Breaking tackles, falling forward, yards after contact. Again, competent blocking up front from the Raiders O-line on this play. And what do you know it leads to success? Let's check it out. There's a motion. There's a snap. There's the handoff. Breaks one tackle, falls forward. Good 4 or 5 yard run, right? Where was the ball snapped? Right there. Ends up being a 5 yard run down the middle of the defense. Winning football, right? So what's all about? Almost 6 yards when it's all said and done. 5 yards of carry wins you championships. And that's what Ashton Jeanty can give you. And even bigger plays if you have competent blocking up front. Let's look at the offensive line. 87, 89. 87, not great. 89, good enough. How about 71 inside here with 76? Get some movement there. Hats on a hat, not bad. How about the center and left guard right here? Look at this double team. Lifting him out of there, driving him out of there, torquing him, pancaking him a little bit. Raiders O-line, again, long way to go, but it's starting to figure it out, guys. It's starting to become a better group. And if they can become consistent, if they can become just, again, baseline competent, we know Ashton Jeanty, like we've seen in this film review, he can dominate games. As a receiving threat, he's outstanding. Downhill runs, zone schemes, design cutbacks, he can do it all. The star power, the reason he was selected so high, it's all still there. He is a beast waiting to be unleashed, and if the Raiders, again, clean up the scheme, a little bit better up front, a little more consistent, number 2 will become the star of the NFL.